Hey guys, it's Chloe, and today I am here with my 2014 Booktube-A-Thon wrap-up. So today is Friday, July 25th, and it has been 5 days since the Booktube-A-Thon ended. Now, I fully intended to have a wrap-up in my Day 7 video, but if you saw my Day 7 video, you know it was only my entry for the giveaway contest for that day. The footage ended up getting lost, and I wasn't here to film, really. I was at my mom's all week recovering from the Booktube-A-Thon. So, here I am, refilming my wrap-up, and I'm going to tell you guys the stuff that I read during the Booktube-A-Thon. Yeah. So I have had a full 5 days to recover from the Booktube-A-Thon, and I'm here to tell you, on Sunday night, I slept for 12 hours. 12 hours! So, you can tell I was obviously tired. I mean, my update videos will tell you that much. But I read a total of 8 books during the readathon, which is a new record for me. Like, the most books I had read in a readathon before was like 4.5. No, I read 8 books during Booktube-A-Thon. I completed all of the challenges, and I read a total of 2,362 pages for the Booktube-A-Thon. That's a full 1,362 over my goal of 1,000 pages that I wanted to read for the readathon. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the wrap-up, starting with Day 1. On Day 1, I finished 2 books for the readathon, and the first one was Stepping on Roses, Volume 1 by Rinko Ueda, and this was for the challenge of read a book with pictures in it. And obviously you can tell this is a manga, so I finished this in about 40 minutes, right when I started at midnight, so that was a great start to my first Booktube-A-Thon. Then on Day 1, I also finished Mind Games by Kiersten White, and this started a challenge, which was start and finish a series. So I also finished this on Day 1, which was also a really big start to my Booktube-A-Thon. Now on Day 1, I also started Perfect Lies by Kiersten White, which was the sequel to Mind Games, but I ended up finishing this on Day 2, which was okay because I was already 3 books into the Booktube-A-Thon. Now on Day 3, I started Don't Call Me Baby by Gwendolyn Heasley, and this did not have a challenge to it, but I just wanted to read it, and this was a really good book, and I ended up finishing it really early on Day 4, around like 3:15 in the morning. So this was the 4th book I completed for the Booktube-A-Thon. Now on Day 3, I also started Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling, and this has 2 challenges. It was read a book with red on the cover, red, pinky red, and read a book-to-movie adaptation, and of course, this is a book-to-movie adaptation, and I ended up finishing this on Day 4. Also on Day 4, I ended up starting Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and, oh my god, I cannot say her first name, Siobhan Vivian. And this was for the challenge of read a book that somebody else picked out for you, and my mother picked this book out for me, so I started it on Day 4 but finished it on Day 5. Now on Day 5, I did not finish a book. I started The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer, but I did not finish it that day. On Day 6, I read very little from The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell until the sprint started that night, and then I read, like, almost all of it. Like, everything but, like, 50 pages of it. Then on Day 7, I ended up finishing The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. I had, like, the last 50 pages, and I ended up finishing it, and this was for the challenge of read a book with pictures. No, that's a lie. This was for the challenge of read a book from a genre that you have read the least of this year, which was fantasy. And it was also for the challenge read 7 books, because this was my 7th book. So I ended up finishing this on the last day of the Booktube-A-Thon. Now there was one book on my TBR that I did not end up getting to, and that was Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. And you know, I don't even care, because I finished every single challenge without having to read this book. And it's perfectly fine. I don't even care. But on Day 7, I also ended up starting and finishing another book, and that was Stepping on Roses Volume 2 by Rinko Ueda. And this wasn't for any challenge. I just decided, you know what, I liked the first book so much, I'm going to go ahead and read the second book because I only own the first two. So I ended up starting and finishing this book. And of course, by the end of the day, that brought my page count up to 2,362 pages. Yes! Challenge is completed. Happy Chloe. So now I'm just going to show you the book and tell you how many stars I gave it, just because I realized I didn't do it while showing you the book. I'm just gonna hold up the book and tell you the amount of stars I gave it. 3.5 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. 3.7 stars. 4.5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. Duh. 4 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, 5 out of 5 stars. So, those are all the books that I read for the Booktube-A-Thon. I completed every single challenge, and I am so proud of myself. And I cannot wait for Christmas Booktube-A-Thon. All of these books, I'm going to go into more detail about my thoughts about them in my July wrap-up. So yeah, look forward to that in like 2 weeks, week and a half maybe. So guys, as always, if you like the video, go ahead and press the like button. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below. Please tell me, how did your Booktube-A-Thon go? How many books did you finish? How many pages did you read? Stuff like that. My name is Chloe, and I will see you in my next video, which is probably going to be tomorrow. So I will see you then. Bye!